Welcome to today's video. I would like to make a quick disclaimer here that I am not a medical professional. I merely did my research on what I have been learning about for quite a while now, and would like to share some very important information that could change how we treat cancer. I think we all know by now that Big Pharma does not want you to know the truth about ivermectin and fenbendazole. There is strong evidence that shows these two drugs work better than any other drug used in modern medicine. But that's not all. Science has also found that when you combine the two, they become a powerhouse against cancer cells. But why, and how do they do it? And most importantly, what does science really say? That's what we're going to find out today. We will also talk about a natural compound that can make both of these drugs even more powerful. Stay tuned until the end of this video to find out what that is. Let's get straight into today's video. In addition to deworming livestock and treating parasites, ivermectin and its derivatives have been shown to be effective against many forms of cancer. Several studies suggest that they exert their anti-cancer effects by interfering with the function of tubulin, which is a protein that makes up microtubules. Microtubules are essential for cell division, so by interfering with them, ivermectin and its derivatives can cause cancer cells to stop dividing and eventually die. One study found that ivermectin was effective against glioblastoma multiforme, which is an aggressive form of brain cancer. The study showed that ivermectin inhibited the growth of glioblastoma cells in a dose-dependent manner. Another study found that ivermectin and fenbendazole were effective against pancreatic cancer cells. The study showed that the combination of these two drugs caused cancer cell death through apoptosis. Apoptosis is a process of programmed cell death that is important for the normal functioning of the body. When cells become damaged or abnormal, they can undergo apoptosis to prevent them from becoming cancerous. A third study found that ivermectin and fenbendazole were effective against breast cancer cells. The study showed that these drugs inhibited the growth of breast cancer cells and induced apoptosis in a dose-dependent manner. A fourth study found that ivermectin was effective against lung cancer cells. The study showed that ivermectin inhibited the growth of lung cancer cells and induced apoptosis. These four studies show that ivermectin and fenbendazole have a broad spectrum of anti-cancer activity. They are effective against a variety of cancer types, including brain cancer, pancreatic cancer, breast cancer, and lung cancer. These drugs also appear to be well tolerated and have minimal side effects when used in the doses studied. But there is even more evidence to support the use of ivermectin and fenbendazole as cancer treatments. A fifth study found that ivermectin and fenbendazole were effective against colorectal cancer cells. The study showed that these drugs inhibited the growth of colorectal cancer cells and induced apoptosis in a dose-dependent manner. A sixth study found that ivermectin and fenbendazole were effective against ovarian cancer cells. The study showed that these drugs inhibited the growth of ovarian cancer cells and induced apoptosis. These two additional studies further support the use of ivermectin and fenbendazole as cancer treatments. They also show that these drugs are effective against specific types of cancer, including colorectal cancer and ovarian cancer. The combination of ivermectin and fenbendazole has also been shown to be effective against cancer stem cells, which are responsible for tumor initiation, progression, and metastasis. Cancer stem cells are a small subset of cancer cells that have the ability to self-renew and differentiate into various types of cancer cells. This makes them an attractive target for cancer therapy, because by targeting cancer stem cells, we can prevent tumor initiation and progression while sparing normal cells. One study found that the combination of ivermectin and fenbendazole was effective at killing cancer stem cells from glioblastoma multiforme. The study showed that this combination inhibited the growth of glioblastoma stem cells and reduced their ability to form tumors. Another study found that the combination of ivermectin and fenbendazole was effective at killing cancer stem cells from acute myeloid leukemia. The study showed that this combination inhibited the growth of leukemia stem cells and reduced their ability to proliferate. These two studies show that the combination of ivermectin and fenbendazole has a promising future as a cancer treatment. By targeting cancer stem cells, we may be able to develop more effective and less toxic therapies for cancer patients. Another benefit of combining ivermectin and fenbendazole is that they have different mechanisms of action. This means that they target different pathways involved in cancer development and progression. For example, as we mentioned earlier, ivermectin has been shown to inhibit tubulin, which is a protein that plays a role in cell division. Meanwhile, fenbendazole has been shown to inhibit the enzyme lactate dehydrogenase, which is an enzyme that helps cancer cells produce energy. By targeting different pathways, ivermectin and fenbendazole can effectively kill cancer cells while sparing normal cells. Additionally, their different mechanisms of action make it less likely that cancer cells will develop resistance to these drugs when used in combination. Resistance to cancer drugs is a common problem that can make cancer treatment difficult. However, by using two drugs with different mechanisms of action, we can reduce the likelihood that cancer cells will develop resistance. Overall, the combination of ivermectin and fenbendazole shows great promise as a cancer treatment. Their different mechanisms of action, broad spectrum of anti-cancer activity, and effectiveness against cancer stem cells make them an attractive option for cancer therapy. More research is needed to fully understand the potential of these drugs, but the results so far are very promising. If the clinical trials show that ivermectin and fenbendazole are safe and effective for cancer treatment, then they could potentially be used as a new treatment option for cancer patients. However, it's important to remember that these drugs are currently approved only for the treatment of parasites and should not be used for cancer treatment unless under the supervision of a qualified healthcare professional. There are several ways that we can support the research and development of ivermectin and fenbendazole as cancer treatments. One way to do this is to donate to organizations that fund research into the use of these drugs for cancer treatment. There are several organizations that are currently funding research into the use of ivermectin and fenbendazole for cancer treatment. By donating to these organizations, we can help to ensure that research continues to be funded and that new treatments are developed for cancer patients. Another way to support the research and development of ivermectin and fenbendazole as cancer treatments is to stay informed and to spread awareness. By learning more about these drugs and their potential uses, we can help to raise awareness and encourage others to support the research. We can also stay up to date on the latest research findings and share them with others. In conclusion, ivermectin and fenbendazole are two drugs that have shown promise as cancer treatments. While more research is needed, the current evidence is encouraging and warrants further investigation. We can support the research and development of these drugs by donating to research organizations and staying informed and spreading awareness. Ivermectin and fenbendazole have shown broad-spectrum anti-cancer activity, are effective against cancer stem cells, and have different mechanisms of action. They may offer a new hope for cancer patients. Now let's talk about a natural compound that can make both ivermectin and fenbendazole even more powerful. We're talking about curcumin. Curcumin is a natural compound found in the root vegetable turmeric. It has been used for centuries in traditional medicine for its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Recent studies have shown that curcumin can enhance the anti-cancer effects of ivermectin and fenbendazole. One study found that curcumin increased the anti-cancer activity of ivermectin against glioblastoma multiforme cells. The study showed that the combination of curcumin and ivermectin led to greater inhibition of tumor growth and increased apoptosis compared to ivermectin alone. Another study found that curcumin enhanced the anti-cancer activity of fenbendazole against pancreatic cancer cells. The study showed that the combination of curcumin and fenbendazole led to greater inhibition of cell growth and increased apoptosis compared to fenbendazole alone. These studies suggest that curcumin may be a promising agent to use in combination with ivermectin or fenbendazole for cancer treatment. By combining these drugs with curcumin, we may be able to enhance their anti-cancer effects and improve patient outcomes. To reap the benefits of curcumin, you can consume it in its whole food form, turmeric. Turmeric is a bright yellow spice that is commonly used in Indian cuisine. It is a potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, making it an excellent addition to any diet. You can easily add turmeric to your meals by adding it to curries, stews, stir-fries, and other dishes. You can also take curcumin supplements. Curcumin supplements are available in capsule or powder form. Taking a daily supplement of 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of curcumin has been shown to have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. When using curcumin for cancer treatment, it is important to follow the recommended dosage and consult with a healthcare professional. High doses of curcumin have been shown to be safe and well tolerated. However, curcumin can interact with certain medications, so it is important to speak with a healthcare professional before taking high doses or using curcumin for medical purposes. Alright, everyone, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to help support my new channel and keep up with future videos. Hope to see you next time.